Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back, it's Jordan here. This day is starting a little bit slower than normal because I don't really know what's happening today. I'm sort of in limbo at this point. So I got here at 8 a.m. and I was supposed to meet the scaffolding guy. He's gonna pick up the scaffolding rental. He was supposed to be here between 8 and 9 a.m. And here I am at 8:49 waiting for him. So I've literally just been drinking my coffee and looking at social media, to be honest with you, this morning. It's been a bit of a slow one. But I don't really know if the heating company is coming back today as well. I haven't heard from them, but when they left yesterday, they said, if you don't hear from us, then we'll be here. Just like, okay. Cool. I assume they're gonna be here then because I haven't heard from them. But it all comes down to whether or not they can get all of the ducting that's going to replace that cold air return that sort of feeds those two vents on the wall above the door there, and then comes here and then feeds into the furnace. So it just really depends on if those ducts that were ordered are going to be supplied in a timely fashion. So I don't know if they're coming today. I haven't heard from them, so I don't know. So like, I sort of have to be on the premise to let these people in to do their work, but I don't know if they're coming. So I don't know what to do because there's not really much to do. I can bring things to the dump, but there's just going to be more things to bring to the dump tomorrow, so why wouldn't I just do that in one big load? I did bring a Lego set, so I'm probably going to go bring that in here or go get that and start building that. I'm meeting the banner guy at 2 o'clock here, so it's sort of weird because these appointments are sort of scattered or in limbo. So I've got to be here, but maybe I don't have to be here, so I don't know what to do with myself while I'm here. My backlog has pretty much been built. It's all at home. So I don't know what to do. So it's just a weird day. For the most part, Mrs. Bricksie has actually built our March backlog. She just like has it at the kitchen table, and whenever the kids aren't being needy, she like builds a bag, or when they're sleeping during their nap, she builds a couple bags. So she's just been like chipping away at that while I've been dealing with the construction here. I did bring some Lego one day, and I built the midi scale ships, and then I brought some Lego the next day, and then the lights went out, and I still have the McLaren here. So the McLaren MP44, so I'm gonna be building that here today, I hope. But other than that, Mrs. Brixie's like taking care of pretty much everything. She built some of the brick heads that came out in February. Yeah, she built those. She also built the Speed Champions, the Snow White and the Seven Doors Cottage. She built Stitch as well. So she's just been like at home building while I've been dealing with like contract work and construction and all that. I'm sort of jealous. I want to get back to the Lego in a big way. I'm sort of at that point. Like, I'm still having fun with the construction aspect of it, but like, I just sort of want to move on from the construction and move on to the Lego, because Lego is funner than this stuff. This stuff is just, it's fun. It's just a little more, I don't know, it's a little more stressful, I guess. And there's a lot more waiting around too. It's like, and a lot more like being in limbo land. I don't know. It's like are they gonna show up today? Or is this gonna get done today? Is the power gonna be on today? This is like so many more like question marks in regards to this stuff. Whereas when you're like building Lego and making videos, it's just a lot different. But I am still having fun with this. Like it's a fun process, and I am enjoying the process. There's no question about it. But I am ready just to start moving at a quicker pace, if you know what I mean. Like I just want to start, laying carpet. Like I want to be at that phase of painting and laying carpet and doing the finishing work. Like I just want the major, like the electrical trades and the plumbing, gas fitting. Well, the electrical's done, but I want the plumbing, gas fitting to be done so that we can move on to like the finishing stuff. And I think once we're there, then it's going to be like a lot more progress that's going to happen like very quickly. So I'm just at the point of wanting it to be at that stage, just because it's been, what, 15 days now of this, and I'm ready to move on from that so we can have fun with Lego, right? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, but I guess I'm gonna have some fun with Lego right now and build the McLaren Senna. But hey, as I was filming that clip, the scaffolding guy showed up, so there you go. Right after the scaffolding was picked up, Paul showed up and he grouted the floor, so that's gonna dry the same color as the existing grout, and I think that patch job is pretty good. In addition to that, the screw holes on the back of the cabinetry have been patched, and I'm gonna have to sand those and apply another coat later on today. And now I'm prepping these walls for paint. So the first thing I did was just go around and scrape off the heads of all these like plastic anchors that were in the concrete there. And now I'm gonna go through and fill all those just using this DAP right here. Sort of matches the texture, and it's gonna help prepare this wall for paint. Hey, you remember that big pile of stuff that used to be here? I somehow managed to fit it all in the back of my car. Just offloaded it all at the eco station for free. Now I'm gonna head to the scrapyard and see what they give me for all this copper wire. Hey, look, a few fivers with the Canada arm on the back, and also a couple tunes. Hey, that one's got a hole in it. Wow. Throw that in the old Tim Hortons fund, eh? Oh my gosh, these last couple minutes have been pretty Canadian, haven't they? But did I tell you the HVAC guys showed up? So they're actually working away right now. How exciting is that? Figured it was time to stop at the car wash because my car was just filthy. You definitely get the most value out of the foam brush. So I got a little bit more done today than I originally expected. It's nice that I was able to patch this wall, sand it down, do the second coat, and now I'm sanding it down again. And that was all taking place while the HVAC guys were working. So the fact that we need to install a new cold air return has delayed it slightly, just because they don't have all of the pieces for that ducting. For example, just the curve or the corner piece right there, they don't have, but they got the other pieces right here, built and ready to be installed. They just didn't have the hangers to do that as well. So those hangers will support the vent going around. And I just think it's gonna look so much better than the existing stuff. Like, it's nice and clean. I know it's still a big duct, but it's brand new, so it looks a lot better. For example, look at the furnace. Like, do you remember the ducting that was on the side of it? It was just like almost like rusting. Like, it just didn't look good at all. So I just want it all new, just because it matches the new furnace, and I think it's worth the small expense. We did run into one delay here today, and that is actually getting the key from the condo board for the roof, because they need to get on the roof to properly vent this stuff, and they weren't able to remove that or just replace it with the PVC piping that they're going to use without having that key. So that's unfortunate, because I was gonna have to wait until Monday, and hopefully I can track down the key for the roof on Monday so they can resume working. So there's a part shortage, not really a shortage, but a delay, and then the key is not accessible, so couldn't gain roof access, but the ducts have been made, the furnace has been roughed in, so that's good. And then also, this is the tube heater, or the infrared heater, which of course is going to be suspended from the ceiling. In there is the tubes, so it's going to be 30 feet. It has been confirmed. It is going to be vented through there, and 30 feet runs to about, I don't know, about here, roughly to about here. So that'll be proper clearance away from there, and then it'll go to where that is there, so it'll vent out the side. So I'm hoping that's going to happen early next week, probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday-ish. And today, of course, is Friday. Most tradespeople or trades workers don't work on the weekends, so I can't expect that type of stuff to be done over the weekend. But I'm sure I'll just continue chipping away here over the weekend. Sure, I'll get up to no good somewhere, right? And by no good, I mean patching and sanding. Uh-oh, watch out for this guy. He's trouble, hey? Hey, I'm pretty happy that that is done, though, because it's essentially ready for paint. However, the staircase needs to be done, and also this wall needs to be framed. I definitely won't be taking care of that. The taping and mudding, we'll leave that to Paul, because I would botch that job in a big way. Hey, in addition to taking care of that today and throwing out all that trash and working a little bit with the HVAC guys, I actually had a meeting in regards to the cloud backdrop. So, of course, the city's going to be centered in this main area here, which is massive. And I want to do a cloud backdrop on 3 walls. That wall, and of course the back wall. I want to try and cover up those pipes and that huge garage door and that man door. So I actually grew up with somebody whose their family specializes in that industry. And I was like, hey, you know what? I've got a contact. I'm going to give him a buzz and get him in here. So he took some measurements today, and they're going to provide me with a quote on doing the cloud backdrop. And I'm sort of thinking it's like go big or go home at this time, but he's going to give me a couple different options. The best option that he has at this time is actually to provide massive vinyls. Like, we're talking huge vinyls. They would start at the floor and they would go up to just underneath that heater there. And they would span this entire wall and this entire wall. So massive cloud banners. Well, not banners, sorry, vinyls. Originally I was thinking, well, maybe I should get some banners printed and we can hang the banners on those walls. He said the vinyl is going to look a lot better, and they have special vinyl that will actually attach to the concrete. And then I was like, okay, well, what about the back? He's like, well, we could probably do some sort of like large curtain rod and install that, and then have multiple banners that would hang from that. So then you can actually open and close these banners. You can still have access to the garage door and to the man door for safety reasons and just for accessibility. So we might be moving forward with that depending on what the quote looks like. That is probably going to be like the most expensive option. He did have some other options. He's like, well, what you could do is you could paint this wall and you could paint that wall, and then we could just print the clouds and you could put the clouds on there. But the problem is, like, when you do a vinyl, you're going to be able to get exactly what you want. So for example, if you want to have a gradient color, like have the background transitioning colors and have clouds and maybe a sun or whatever it may be, then we can sort of customize it and do this massive unique vinyl that would be applied to that wall and applied to this wall, and then of course curtains for the back as well. So I'm looking into that expense. He did give me a ballpark range. I'll tell you right now, it's not cheap, like not cheap by no means, but I think it would be like worth the investment, because imagine looking at the Lego city in the center here and all of that is gone. It's just these beautiful clouds, and beautiful clouds on this side, and it goes up to the heater. Like, that would be incredible. I think that would be really nice. And the reason I want to bring it up that high is because then when I'm way up here filming down, you're not really going to see the top of it. Whereas if I only do, like, for example, 8 feet or something, and it only comes up to here, that's going to look weird, right? Like, when you're even from filming from here, it just looks strange. So I sort of want to do it right. I want to like immerse the entire city with this cloud background. It's a huge space, so it's very expensive. And they said if they were to do it, of course, they would deal with the install as well. And they would get their big scissor lift in here and use their scissor lift to install it properly. And I wouldn't have to paint these walls. All I would have to do is just patch the holes and sand them down, because the vinyl is pretty much just going to cover all of that up. And if I am going to move forward with that, then I have to look to get that installed before I start laying carpet in here, because they're going to be driving the scissor lift around. So it's a big decision. I'm not sure what I'm going to do at this point. I guess it really just comes down to price and sort of where I'm at with this renovation. So I'm going to wait for his quote and then sort of go from there. But I will say I am like pretty much sold on the idea of doing a cloud backdrop, just because I think it's going to be so cool. And 1 year or 2 years or 3 years from now, I think if I don't do it when we're at this stage, I think I'll regret it. Because once you get the city in here, getting way up there and applying these vinyls will pretty much be impossible. They need to get a scissor lift in here. And that's part of the reason why it's so expensive too, is because the material, the application, and just having the equipment to do it correctly. This company that I know is actually like huge in this industry. They do, there's an amusement park in the mall called Galaxyland, and they do the vinyl graphics for Galaxyland. He was telling me they just did a big ceiling graphic for the Sorry ride because it's actually Hasbro themed. The ceiling graphic that was 40 feet by 40 feet. And then he was also telling me they just did the G.I. Joe ride graphics. So they do like crazy stuff, and their designers are really good, and they'd be able to make it look really nice and sort of tailor exactly how I want it and do a professional job of installing it. So I'm really leaning toward that. It's going to be a huge expense, but I think like if I'm going to do it, it has to happen at this stage of construction. It can't happen after. Like, you can't get once I have this place full of Lego tables, you can't get a scissor lift in here. And the carpet's installed, you're not going to want to put a scissor lift in here. So I think if I'm going to do it, it sort of has to happen now, pre-carpet. I mean, we can get all the other renovations done except for the carpet, and then we can do that. So leave the carpet for last. He also said that what you do is before you put the baseboards on and stuff, you apply these massive graphics, and then you put the baseboard over top of the bottom of the graphic, and then it's like no big deal, because if not, then we have to like put this decal or the vinyl, and then we have to like trim it along the baseboard, and it makes it way more difficult. So like it's better to do it like when you're in the phase of construction. So my hands are sort of tied. Like I sort of want to do it. Like I really want to do it. I think it's going to be so like cool for the future. And then he also said that the cool thing about doing the graphics and stuff too is the fact that like if you have this big vinyl, and say for example you want to add like a big YouTube logo with your logo or something, or say like and subscribe on the wall, we can print that and we can apply these decals on after. Or if you want to add some birds, we can put those on top of the primary graphic that you have. Or if you're like get sick of it, or you want to put a dragon in the sky or King Kong or whatever the heck you want, we can do that after the fact, because we can just add layers of graphics. So it's something like I'm leaning toward yes on, but it really depends on the cost. But I want to get it done right, and I'm thinking that would be pretty bloody cool. Like that's the thing too. Like in another video, I was talking about allocation of budget. Heating was important. The furnace literally didn't work, so heating had to be done. The lighting was like just garbage, so that had to be done. The painting, like the walls were destroyed, so the painting had to be done. The fixing of the staircase and the shelving and the carpet, that has to be done. So I've done like all of the have to stuff. I haven't really put any expense into, the want side of it, just the bones. Like I'm just doing all of the need stuff. And I think this would be a huge expense that I'm sort of willing to take on for the want side, because I just think it would be so nice to hide this garage door and to make this place beautiful with blue clouds. Like it would be super cool. Legendary. Yeah, so I'm thinking about it in a big way. Let me know what you think of it by commenting below. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff coming out in the near future, and have yourselves a fantastic day. Bye for now.